this is such an enormous subject. Jeff, you and I, we can all pick up little bits and pieces and chat about those ad infinitum this week and next week as well. But the bit I want to pick up in, once again, is money. I think it's something that our viewers understand better than 99% of people out there as well. And the fact of the matter is, this is a two-way battle as well. The rich nations, for the last 12 years, have promised that $100 billion a year would be forthcoming for emerging nations to make the transition to cleaner fuels on a regular basis from 2016. That money has not been forthcoming. In fact, now a success at this COP would be seen as, okay, well, we can do it from 2023, because the last couple of years it's been about 80 billion US dollars has turned up. And then the UK Prime Minister there talking about an extra billion available as well. But I want to put this in context. I spoke to Mark Carney, who has a very special role on the financing side with the UN about getting the money available from the private and public sector to the nations and companies and individuals who need it as well. He's talking about, over the next 30 years, the need for 100 to 150 trillion dollars needs to be used to transform. So if the governments can't put forward this promise of $100 billion that they promised to give to emerging nations, what hope is there that the private sector, that our viewers are going to want to get involved in that kind of financing if the governments aren't putting their money where their mouth is?
Well, this is a point that Larry Fink, the head of BlackRock, has made before, that yes, the billions that governments have pledged is crucial, but it's really the trillions of private money that is really imperative here. And there is a role for the governments to play, not only in delivering $100 billion every year, but also in creating a regulatory environment and an incentive structure that then unlocks all that private money. So there is a need, or is seen as a need, to take the tone from the top, government setting it. But the key here is really unleashing the private sector and getting institutional investors to feel comfortable taking risks in emerging markets to actually deliver and support these countries' initiatives on top of what the governments are actually providing, Jeff.
Yeah, and I think the other interesting angle for a lot of our audience is COP a market-moving event this time round? If you look at something like a clean energy ETF, the iShares ICLN, it doubled effectively coming into 2021 from 2020. And I think a lot of that move was based on the idea that we would see very firm commitments made at this COP meeting, and that would validate people's excitement about buying clean energy solution ETFs. It's wavered year to date. It's off nearly 10% since the start of 2021, whilst we've seen the crude price go up, the gas price go up, the price of the shares of oil companies go extraordinarily higher. And it does feel as though we're in a moment here where I think the market is trying to make an assessment as to whether the politicians attending this event have what it takes to put down clear markers about reductions in greenhouse gas emissions, and whether they can persuade their own populations as to what the costs of doing that are likely to be at this stage. And I think the populations at large are skeptical. And I think when you look at the energy prices at the moment, they are concerned because they look at the current cost of energy that they're paying for, and they worry that the transition is going to mean that energy price is only going to go up from here. So very interesting. I think that the market is making its own assumptions about how this COP event is going to unfold. And I'm not sure at this stage that they believe that it is clear that this meeting will deliver on any of that agenda and will ultimately be market moving.